Samantha from Summer Tutorials here, and today I'm going to be showing you a cool way to use up your leftover clay from any polymer clay projects. Now what I've got here is a piece of leftover clay, basically where I combine a bunch of clay that I can't use into one solid colour, and it has been rolled out to 2 millimeters thick. And from this we're going to be making a texture stamp that we can use in further projects. And for today's texture stamp, I'm going to be showing you a technique that involves using a silkscreen as an image template. You can use any silkscreen you want, and it's a great way to make some matching texture stamps for your silkscreens. You could also use stencils as well. Now, I'm just going to be peeling off the plastic backing from that silkscreen. I'm going to pop this onto the clay. Smooth that down, and you can of course make a texture stamp just completely with no template needed, but I find that sometimes it's fun to create matching silkscreen and texture stamp combos. Now I'm just using some white acrylic paint there. I'm just going to brush that over the surface. And I like to go in both directions to make sure that I get a good imprint. Okay, and then we're just going to lift that up. And then just go wash your silkscreen off. Alright, and I've just left that silkscreen to dry, and this has had some time to dry as well. Before I start, I want to just show off the tools that I'm going to be using. It's very simple. I would recommend a couple of ball tools with varying points on the ends. And then the other thing that I tend to use are either little metal piercing pins, or you can use needles, or you could even use bamboo skewers. Anything along those lines will work. Alright, and with that we can start our pattern. And now I'm not going to be following this exactly. I will be making some changes because a silkscreen allows for finer lines than something like a texture stamp. So for instance here, instead of following the the white lines, I'm actually going to be pressing down inside them so that I create something that will be a little bit more interesting, because I'm keeping in mind I'm going to most likely want to use this for something like mokumegane. So I want a texture that will work for that while still working off of the same pattern. So sometimes I'll follow the lines, sometimes I'll skip around the lines, or sometimes I'll actually colour in the lines, or texture inside the lines. You can make those decisions as you go. But it's a very simple process. Nice and easy, it's quite relaxing. I would recommend doing this on a portable tile. Maybe sit down, watch your favourite show while you're doing this, because it can be quite time consuming. But it's an excellent way to use up leftover clay. Yeah, definitely do recommend giving this a shot at least once. And it doesn't actually take as much skill as you might think, especially if you're following a pattern. And if you do happen to mess up and you're unhappy with it, you can always just recombine the clay and start over again. So no worries there. But yeah, I'm just going to continue messing around, creating a pattern that I like. You can see here why I want different size ball tools. It's because it allows me a lot of flexibility. And yeah, don't worry about filling in those lines exactly. It's just a process of using it as a starting point. And remember to make your clay nice and thick, because the thicker it is, the deeper you can print in that pattern. So I'd say 2 millimeters is probably the minimum, which is the thickest setting of my pasta machine. If I plan on making a really deep texture, I will actually take the thickest setting and stack it at least once, and then start texturing from there. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you end up doing this. what do you do with your leftover clay? How do you tend to use it up? I'm interested in hearing. Okay, and we're quite far along at this point. And at this point, I haven't gone and kept the borderline over here that we have on the Silkscreen. Instead, I've gone and actually made it so that the pattern kind of merges a little bit, so that it looks like one continuous pattern in my texture stamp, rather than two separate patterns like what I have on the Silkscreen. But again, this is a newish pattern that I'm starting off with over here, but it's basically the same process of just punching in those lines, smoothing it out once you've got the ball tool through the basics of it. And the only trick that I can really share that helps is just to start with the more important parts of the pattern, you know, the areas like, for instance, this leaf or the flower areas. You want to kind of punch those in first, and then go in with the dots, which in the case of this pattern are kind of the filler parts of the pattern. Like, for instance, I wanted to get that leaf punched in, and now I'm going to go in and do these little dots here, because the dots you can easily change the sizes and such, whereas the leaf you're a little bit more restricted with that. So regardless of whatever pattern you are doing, definitely keep that in mind, because it can help avoid frustrations where the pattern ends up not fitting, because the clay does move around a lot. It's not as precise as something like a pencil, which is what I use to draw out my Silkscreen patterns. So you do have to kind of work around it. Anyway, that's just kind of the only trick I have. Other than that, you're pretty much good to go. You can just continue with this pattern until it's completely finished up. And there we go, all finished. That in total took about 2 hours, roughly, give or take. But yeah, that's just about done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be lifting this up off the tile. And hopefully this plays the game. There we go. And I know I'm slipping off screen there, but that's okay. And there we go, you can see how that looks. And now, always with my textures, because the clay warps and pushes into itself, I like to give it a stretch afterwards, because this just kind of opens up the pattern a little bit and helps some of those areas that might have been a little bit on the finer side open up. And it just opens the pattern up in general and just can help the finished piece. So I'm just going to place that down, and again, just stretch it out a little bit, and just be careful, because sometimes you can rip the clay, but as a whole I generally find that it's alright. Okay, and at this point the last thing I would recommend doing is just going through the pattern one more time, just checking areas, in particular these areas where I've got the really fine lines. I know that those are going to be a problem area, so I'll go through and just make sure that they're open and haven't ended up sticking together. The rest of the pattern generally should be okay, because I use the ball tools. Anytime where I use something like this piercing pin, I have to go through and just double check that everything's okay. Alright, and this you could bake exactly the way it is if you want. However, I'm going to be using a cutter to trim it out, seeing as I will be using this to create some of my silicone stamps that I sell on my Etsy store, Jessima Design. So I have to make sure that I get it the exact right size. But if you're doing this from home and you're going to just be using it as a personal stamp, then you can just bake it as it is and not worry about cutting off any excess. Also, those silicone stamps that I have made, I will have them linked in the description below, along with what will probably end up being a clay version of this stamp as well, if you are interested. But this is how I make my textures. They're all handmade. There we go. And there we got a nice texture plate. This is now going to go into the oven for a full hour at Primo's recommended temperature, and then once that's baked I can show you what it will look like once impressed into the clay. And here is how that looks once it's out of the oven. And Primo polymer clay, and most polymer clays that is, should be flexible once it comes out of the oven, so you can see there. Alright, now I'm going to show you how the texture is going to look. So I would highly recommend, there we go, I'd highly recommend grabbing some cornstarch and using that in a generous amount, especially when I'm doing my first one, because I don't know how tight the texture is, so I like to over dust rather than under dust, and I'll just tap that out. There we go. And that way I can ensure that I don't accidentally end up clogging my texture, because sometimes my textures are a little bit on the finer side and I need a lot of cornstarch to release them, so I like to test that on the first go around. Then I have a piece of black clay here that I'm also going to be dusting to make sure that everything doesn't stick, and let's get a nice clean impression here. Pop that down, and I'm going to use my fingers to press in the texture. You could use a roller as well, but I like to use my fingers. I feel like I have a little more control when I do that. But I'll just continue all the way up the texture. Alright, then you're good to lift that up. And it should come out nice and clean. And there we go, you can see how that looks. I'll actually just show you like that so you can see a little better. Cornstarch also helps me highlight it for you so you can see how that texture looks. And I'm going to be using this texture in some projects in a future video, so we'll be able to see it much better then. I will link to that in the description below whenever that ends up happening. And to get rid of the extra cornstarch, just dust over the top, and that will clean it up really quickly. There we go, you can see how that ended up looking. Alright, and I'm just going to show you how this looks highlighted, because you can see it, but I think it will look better if I apply some gold mica powder, just so you can really see that pattern. Though this pattern really I've designed mostly for mukumegane. I think that it will work really nicely as mukumegane, more so that way than a texture. But let's show what the texture looks like. I'm just gonna grab that, and I'm just going to dust that over the surface, and that will hopefully show off that pattern a little better than what the black clay is showing. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this texture. Let me know what you think in the comments below of this texture. This is basically it for the tutorial. A nice quick one. I like showing you how to make your own texture stamps from home, so whenever I make a design I try to show it off online. So let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you have questions, let me know. If you like the video, consider leaving a like and subscribing, as it helps the channel out and gets us out to more people that like doing polymer clay. And if you'd like to support the channel so that I can continue creating videos just like this one, please do consider becoming a member. There's a join button just below this video where you can become a member of the channel and gain access to these videos early, as well as exclusive access to members only videos. Another way to support the channel is to check out my Etsy store, where I'll be selling things like this texture stamp, both in polymer clay and silicone, along with a number of other polymer clay related tools and supplies that I all make from scratch in the studio here. But that is just about it. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.